to show, and we are part of this community, and we love this community, right? So then, and if every community is part of this, and so that's how this nation becomes so great. And the theme is to show the love, and from everybody, not only from Asian community, and the celebration of love.
So this gives you an idea of all the popular posts and how our posts have done once we publish them. It kind of tells you, like, for instance, right here, there's only 38, so very little. Some of the more popular posts have a longer reach of 537, and these are all organic posts. I'm just gonna go down, just all the way down to 2019. So you get like 120 and maybe 253 or 341, 353. So what are the things that are, the posts that are eye-catching to our audience, our viewers? And that's what we're looking at. This one got 778. But I gotta show you yours.
Yeah. Being told me that, I was surprised.
Yeah. So, which was the most viral post we have had in Impact Beaverton history.
Oh, wow.
So that is. So I got to get down to 2019. It's been a while.
Yeah.
So we are very active. This is 740.
Okay.
We're getting close.
Yeah.
I have to go to May. We're getting very close.
It's good to know that you can look the history of all the posts. Yeah. I never check ours.
Yeah, it's good to do this. Okay, we're getting very close. May 12th. And look at this.
Oh.
2.4 thousand. You see that?
Yeah, what happened?
So that's how popular this post was. There's nothing like this.
Yeah,
we didn't pay for it. It says it's organic, 2,392. Zero, we paid zero paid.
Wow. Yeah, that means that's just really people were really interested in knowing that. And that's the same message we keep sending to our own community, for the Chinese American community. And we are pretty closed, and not just get together closed. And it's like they don't normally going out. So that they do have a lot of resources, and they try to entertain themselves. And since we started this new organization, so one of the major goals for us is to reach out. And I told our community, I said, I know we feel very comfortable by getting each other, and internally, right? And it's kind of a little scary for us to go out. Historically, that's always true. Yeah, so that's why, for Chinese American community, it's, and we have a name for that. It's an invisible community, right? Racial group. And because they are taking care of themselves, they don't make a noise, they don't come out. And everybody feel like they're nice people, but they don't know who they are. And if you want to get in touch with them, you don't know who to contact, right? So that's typically. But when I talk to the community, I said every single time, we go out, we are embraced by other people. They love to see us being there. And one example is very beginning of 2016 when we just first started. So I attended the NAACP general meeting and in North Poland. So when I got into the room, and you would think, right? So then all the people there would be the people from African American community. And matter of fact, to my surprise, 60% or to almost like 70% of the people sitting there were from other communities, like white people. And Joanne was the president at that time. And she's so popular right now as a city councilor. And she saw me, she knew me, and she was so happy. Say, Hongcheng, come over, sit next to me. They feel like all of a sudden, and someone from Chinese American community, they were willing to step out from their comfort zone. And never been happening before. And so then the same thing happened, I would think that one of the major reasons for the spike of the visit on that particular post on the Facebook, for the people, and they get used to, considering Chinese American community as invisible. But all of a sudden they came out. They were curious. So what's happening and what they can offer, right? So like even, in Beijing, we have a Forbidden City. Then that's for in Beijing, where the emperor they stay, they're where to stay. They have the huge wall, and to enclose that place, where the emperor stays. So, and we call it called Forbidden City, and because it's tall, the wall is so tall, and nobody knows what's going on inside. Right. So I think that even for Chinese American here, I think the same thing. It's like an invisible forbidden wall around us, and nobody know what's going on. Yeah. I think that I think we delivered at the end, and that particular first time ever, the Chinese festival there was a huge success, and consider, even comparing with other festivals, including Indian festivals that have been there for 25 years, ours was the best. It's just between us. I wouldn't claim that beyond.
That's awesome. Yeah, it's so good to hear. It's so good to hear that you did have great success. I was wondering what happened. What happened to that festival after? I remember we were this is back in 2019, of course, before COVID, and we were gathering together and we were supporting each other, and perhaps this was the event called Coffee Connection through the Chamber, right? And we would meet at different businesses, and being invited you to come, and at the time you were organizing and planning the very first Chinese festival, right, in all of Oregon, and it was so exciting. And you were handing out flyers, and the flyers were an invitation so that other community members could participate, whether it was through volunteering, attending, and as well as sponsorship.
Yeah.
And I came up to you and Bing, and I said, we have to share this. And so I came and we took a photo of you and Bing, and it didn't occur to me exactly what I needed to write about and how viral this invisible event was going to be, but it turned out to be that so many people saw it, and And within your community, Bing tells me that you were contacted by parents who were in the carpool picking up their children and hearing about this post, right? Can you tell me about that?
I don't remember exact. So many things happened to me. Yeah,
Yes. So it
yeah,
was happening everywhere all the time.
yeah. It's and it's just and absolutely demonstrate and the outreach and job has been beautifully done by your office and your audience there. So without your support, I think that the success is going to be hugely discounted. That because it was the first time for us be more realistically, and I know people were curious about Chinese culture and the Chinese American community, but we have been so isolated for for so many years, and to reach out is always a challenge for us. And we did everything we can, and but and in terms of a corporate sponsor, and we of course we did it kind of in a rush. We didn't have enough time. We contact with all the big corporate for potential sponsors opportunities, and everybody told us like you have to contact us at least half a year before the event. When we contact them like only a month or two. Yeah, but it it didn't stop us from making things happen with the support from all the communities, right? So then, for like a Facebook things, you don't need 6 months in advance to have us reach out. And matter of fact, it's just and you post it right away, and go to and get attention from everybody. Yeah, that. Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. And so that just that organic post became so viral unexpectedly, right? And the event was made possible because of all the volunteers you had.
Yeah.
How many volunteers did you have for your very first?
Okay, I'll get really excited. I'm getting very excited by talking about that particular event right now, even almost 2 years after that. And so so of course we have performance on the central stage. They should have like over 250 performers. Of course, they come with groups or individual persons, and but basically all performing groups within Chinese American communities participated, including someone from Corvallis. And that was 2 years ago, and we didn't have much connection with other big cities in state of Oregon, but still, and they came all the way from Corvallis and be part of this. And I guarantee for this year when it happens, and we're gonna have way more people because I can talk to you more why I have that much confidence. And there's a performance wise, and same time because of Chinese festival, and before that happened, when during the planning stage, Bing and I and some other people from our group went to Pioneer Square, observe how other festivals, organized. And so, of course, they have been very savvy, have done many years, and but at the same time, we want to do something differently. And one thing is no commercial. that's not many people have the guts to say that. And when you go go to Indian festival, and around stage, all the banners, okay, like mortgage brokers, dental office, and they don't have massage salon, but all the kind of things very distracting to me. So that's not kind of a, when you walk into, feel that cultural shock, instead of you see all those uh, taste of the money, and of course, which help make the festival more sustainable over years. But to me, it's kind of a discount the impact of this festival itself. So that's why we decided, unless we have corporate sponsor, and we can clearly, and show uh, the logo or banner, those sponsors. Otherwise, no others. Then we do get other support from local businesses, and but we decided to not to have the banners there. And once you have banners, it's going to be hard to control, to balance. So that's why if you look at the pictures of that day for the festival, for our festival, you see it's extremely clean. You don't see anything else except the activities. And another the major difference from other festivals, to us, and to promote culture, to watch the performance is just one part of that. How we can get people involved, have a hands-on experience, spend the time as a family, that's supposed to be another big part of this festival. Yeah, so that's why we came up with the idea is, because I'm so old, I still remember my childhood things. Yeah, there's so many things, not like these days. So, when you see teenagers play video games, and cell phones, right? And nothing else. But in our old days, we don't have that. We didn't have those things. We had that's more organic, activities outdoors and crafts, and but those things tend to help glue the family together, because if you play some game, you cannot play yourself, right? You have to play with somebody, and those people you play with most likely come from family members. So that's why I said, hey, what about let's present it, those activities here again, right? And so to do it, of course, you need lots of volunteers, and otherwise people wouldn't know how to do those things, right? Like paper cuttings, and calligraphy, and the clay figuring, that use a clay to make up a small person with the colors. Everybody who volunteer there, they enjoy as much as people who they serve. Yeah, so they had a great time, and the parents with their little kids, the dynamic inside family, especially for the Chinese families. And whenever the parents want to talk to the kids, it's for what? It's for do your homework. Hey, have you finished homework? Have you done that one? Have you done that one? Right? So the tension's there, always there. So that's the dynamics inside Chinese American families. But when we had that kind of opportunities, all of a sudden they forget the pressure from homework, pressure from extracurriculum, pressure from getting the best score from your SAT or ACT or best college. All of a sudden, and they go back to the core of the life, enjoy it, and being there next to each other. And so they were so happy. So then there's so many families that talk to us after the event. They love it. They feel like so relieved. And the same thing for we used to have before pandemic. We had the weekly the Chinese conversation table event inside Lansu Garden in Chinatown, and we were there and show different cultural things, depending on what the volunteer bring in that particular day, then interact with the tourists, and all the families as a volunteers that love it. As for Chinese American kids, they tend to be soft. They tend to be not that outgoing, right? And so when they get engaged with the group activities, they typically pretty shy, right? And I said, it is, not their fault. And matter of fact, it's and for the families and for parents and for the community. And we always push them to from one classroom to another classroom, and they tend to stay with the same group of people they grew up with from childhood, and they study English together, and then study SAT together. Then they do all kind of different together, always same group. Right? They never had opportunity going on. And I said, when we offer these kind of activities, right, including festivals, you just watch those little kids. You put them behind the table, being a host for the activities. So when the tourists, came, so quickly, those kids can get engaged with other kids who visited, the table, and they went so well, and that gave not only the chance to get engaged, but also help boost the confidence of those little kids, right? So they feel like, wow, I'm a host, and I can do something, and especially makes them comfortable is something from your own culture, which is they're so familiar with. They don't have to prepare. They don't have to pretend. They're from their own heart, right? It's so natural for them to feel so confident. Yeah, of course, I know more than you do for what our Chinese culture is, right? And so then, by putting them on the driver's seat, and they had a great time. And every single event, in Lanzhou Chinese Garden, and the family, of course, they rented cars there, and they drove back home, in the car on the way back. You know, they talk about it. They have a great time between parents, the kids, kids come back. So that's how we, to as organizer for such events in the community. And of course, the major goal is to promote the Chinese culture. Yeah, but the second goal is to, how you want to provide the opportunities for the community members, the children and parents. And that's a huge. So when you make this kind of opportunities available, and you have to educate them, and not simply, hey, you post on the Facebook, you put it on the table, it happen automatically. No, you have to nurture it. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yes, you do have to nurture it. Thank you for sharing your story, your many stories, and your very valuable insight. I appreciate that. I always love to learn more about all our so many different communities that we have. It's important to relate and understand, because that's how we can help each other, right? What is going on within certain communities? There are so many different things happening all the time, and even just how an immigrant family is affected first and second and third generation. It's we tend to lose a lot of our culture, which is what makes us so unique, right? I am a first generation immigrant, and English is my first language. And I had a very different experience coming to the US, um, and you do start out with not really knowing what to do and how to understand what to do. I mean, the first thing, it seems, I remember my goal was to understand the culture here, because by understanding the culture and understanding the language, then I could integrate into it. And at the same time, I'm learning the language and I'm trying to, and so everything is happening all at once. And it's sort of like this survival mode where you desperately seek for relationships, and you desperately seek to build a relationship with someone that can understand you. And and that's so important, right, to get ahead, because you want to feel that you're supported through this whole process, and eventually it's going to be a lot easier, right? And then what are you going to do for your next generation that's going to grow up in America all their life? And so what can you do to provide um, the culture experience that you once had in a different country? And so there's so many challenges, but I love the way that we work together. And so there's you, 2019 Chinese Festival.
I was so young back then.
And your good friend Bing as well. And all the post said was Oregon's first Chinese festival. More info, here's the link. And that was it.
Yeah,
That was it. It was nothing more.
yeah. Wow.
Nothing more. And so I'm just thinking about everything I've learned with creating posts, and I know that there would have been much more to add here to make this post viral, but it organically became viral just on its own. And so it just reflects so much on what you were sharing with us, that mostly the community is an invisible community. It strives to be invisible. But when the Chinese community comes together, it's a revolution. It is.
I like the word revolution. It's a revolutionary, yeah.
It is a true celebration of love, and it's of love of each other, love of its culture, and love of others as well in our community, and others who support the community. And so it's so important. And I've loved getting to know you, and I've loved getting to know Bing as well, and hearing the stories, and what a successful festival you had. I do wish that you guys, that you do have another one of these events, and I'm so happy to support it. So I do thank you so much for your time, and I do hope that we get to meet again and we get to know more about each other. I'm here for you for anything that you may need, and thank you for your time, and thank you for sharing your stories.
Thank you so much, Emma. It's well said, and look forward so much to the future opportunities we can work together. And Beaverton is absolutely in our heart, and we love everything you have offered to us, and all those activities, including last year's Work and Walk and this year's Chinese New Year celebration, all because you made an offer to us, and we jump in. So we just, and at the end, with a partnership and with the support from your office, and we could make things happen. And also, I think what we have been doing is kind of planting the seeds in the community. And we are part of this community, and we belong here. Absolutely, we want to do more for the community. So we have so much expectation. Trust me, we have so much. And I told Lulu last time after Chinese New Year celebration, I said, and I just simply hope by next Chinese New Year's, the pandemic is going to be behind us. We are not going to have restriction on number of people. Then I guarantee the whole field is going to be crowded by the people, not only from our community, but also from all other communities. And let's celebrate together to know each other